Dear students, in this unit, we will talk about the, um, the strengthening of the process of evolution, and that there are a lot of scientific evidences which support the theory of evolution. A vast body of scientific evidences support evolution. Those evidences include fossil record, comparative anatomy of different organisms, biogeography, mean their distribution, developmental biology, mean the study of their how they are developed inside from an offspring to a mature organism, and the molecular biology studies. Now, other than that, evolutionary hypotheses are increasingly being tested experimentally. Darwin, at that time, there were less experimentation, so mostly he has different hypotheses as per his observation. Now, the time has come that those hypotheses are being tested scientifically. Taken together, all these evidences confirm the theory that life was originated on this earth by the process of evolution. Now, the study of past and present geographic distribution of organism to different ecosystems and different geographically isolated areas is known as biogeography. And this distribution affects the evolution of those species, which becomes different from each other. Now, Darwin was interested in biogeography because he considered why the species found on oceanic island tend to resemble the species of the neighboring mainland instead of the similar environment of the island in some other part of the world. This was a very intriguing observation and curiosity which led the Darwin to come to a conclusion towards the theory of evolution. Now, Darwin observed that species on ocean island do not resemble to the species on island in another area of the world, but they were more resemble to the species of nearby mainland. Now, he concluded that species from neighboring continent may have migrated or were carried to that island, and where they subsequently adapted to new environment and they become a new species because they acquired characteristics which also help them to survive in the islands. Now, if evolution was not a factor in the distribution of species, we would expect to find a similar species or the given species everywhere it could survive. But it is not the case as we study different ecosystems. The actual geographic distribution of organisms better make sense in when we talk about it in context of the evolution. For example, in Australia, the Australia has been separated as an island some million of years ago from the mainland, and it has a unique flora and fauna of organisms. It has a population of egg-laying mammals, which are known as monotremes, and it also has marsupial or pouched mammals, which are not found anywhere else in the world. Now, over the course of millions of years, Australian continent gradually separated from the rest of the world, and the monotremes and marsupials, which were in that island, they continued to thrive and diversify. And the isolation of this Australia prevented the placental mammals which arose in the main continents. It prevented because it was separated from the mainland, so those animals or placental mammals could not come to Australia So the population of these monotremes and marsupials, they remain intact, and they survived. While in other continents where placental mammal they were occurred, monotremes and marsupial became extinct because the placental mammals, they were better suited to the environments. Now, Earth's geological history is related to biogeography and evolution. The knowledge that the continents were at time connected and has since drifted apart is very useful in explaining certain aspects of biogeography of certain animals. Now, similarly, those continental drifts, they has played a major role in evolution of different organism in different parts of the world. Now, developmental biology also helps unravel evolutionary patterns. How snake became elongated and they lost their limbs, just like the other reptiles have. It has long intrigued the evolutionary biologist. Now, with the study of the comparative anatomy, it shows that certain pythons, they have vestigial hind limbs, bones which is still present and embedded in their bodies, while the other snakes, they have lost their hind limbs entirely. So these developmental geneticists at Harvard Medical School and Princeton University, they are studying the developmental basis of different beak shape of Galapagos finches. For example, they have determined that a gene which is known as morphogenic protein 4, it affects the development of birds' craniofacial skeleton. And this craniofacial skeleton has the role in the synthesis and the formation of the beaks. So the more expression of that gene has resulted in the finches with larger beaks, and as compared to the one with the smaller beak. So this molecular comparison among these organisms have provided evidence for evolution, similarities and differences in their biochemistry and molecular biology of various organisms provide evidence for evolutionary relationship. Proteins and DNA, they contain a record of evolutionary changes, and they are very useful in supporting the theory of evolution.